Auditing and Assurance, April 2024, question 5A reads, International Standard on Auditing ISA 230 audit documentation requires the auditor to maintain all information records and documents gathered during the audit. Required, analyze 4 matters the auditor could record in the audit working papers during the annual stock take. What do you think, Tony? Richard, Nelson? What matters do you think that the auditor should record during the annual stock take? One matter that you should remember is observation of procedures. The auditor should record his observations of procedures in taking stock. The auditor should document their observations of the stock taking procedures, and that includes noting how the account was organized, who was involved, and whether any controls were in place to prevent errors or fraud. And therefore, the auditor might record details such as the use of pre-numbered count tags, if there was any segregation of duties between those who are counting and those who are recording, and generally the procedure for handling discrepancies. The procedures should be documented. His observation on the procedures involved in taking stock. That is the first matter. The second matter to record in his working papers is test counts. Test counts. The auditor should perform test counts, and these are test counts of selected items, and he should record the results in the working papers. And these test counts serve to verify the accuracy of the client's count and also to identify any potential issues. So the auditor might select a sample of items from different areas of the warehouse. He should then record the quantity and description of each item and compare their count to the client's count. Test counts. Because the company he is auditing has carried out the count, then he should also do the same and test whether his counts agree with the counts of the company. Test counts, and then record in the working papers. 2 is what we call cut-off procedures. Cut-off procedures. Cut-off procedures. The auditor should document the cut-off procedures used by the client to ensure that all the goods received before the year end are included in the stock count, and all goods dispatched after the year end are excluded. That's what we are referring to as cut-off procedure. And that might involve reviewing the last goods received notes, okay, towards the end of the year. And also, he may also review the goods dispatched notes. You understand? The goods dispatch note of the year, and then observe the physical movement of goods in the store or warehouse. cut-off procedures. Then he has to document the cut-off procedures in his working papers. So there are many matters, candidates, including the obsolete items, the slow-moving stocks, and so on. Obsolete and slow-moving stock should be part of what is documented in his audit working papers. The auditor should identify and record any items of stocks that appear to be obsolete, the slow-moving items, or even the damaged items, because that is important, because such items may need to be written down to their net realizable value, which could have a significant impact on the financial statements. You understand? And the auditor might inquire with management about their plans for disposing such items and document their responses in his working papers. So these are 4 matters that the auditor could record during the annual stock take: observation of procedures, test counts, cut-off procedures, obsolete, slow-moving, or damaged stock. You understand? Then part B of the question reads, describe 4 types of audits that an internal auditor might conduct. What are the types of audit that an internal auditor might conduct? Try that one out. Catherine, what do you think? Karan says examine financial statements. Karan, examination of financial statements is called financial audit. Think you are referring to financial audit? The audit of financial statements is a financial audit. So most of your points are okay. Gaspard says internal control systems audit. That is true. Internal control audit. That is the evaluation, or to evaluate the adequacy and effectiveness of the organization's internal control system. So Gaspard says internal control audit. That is true. An internal control audit includes reviewing controls over financial reporting operations, and the purpose is to evaluate the adequacy and effectiveness of an organization's internal control systems. And the audit assesses whether controls are in place to mitigate risks and achieve organizational objectives. That is true. Karani says financial audit. Financial audit. That is also true. Financial audit. An internal auditor can perform financial audit. These are audits conducted or concerned with accuracy and reliability of the company's financial records and statements. And internal auditors examine financial transactions, they examine accounting practices to ensure that the financial information is presented fairly and comply with the accounting standards. Understand? Yes, that is true. Financial audit. Mercy says procedural audit. Procedural audit. Mercy, are you referring to operational audit or procedures audit? Procedures audit is related to compliance audit. Tony says compliance audit. Procedural audit may also be true. Compliance audits, candidates, these are audits that assess an organization's adherence to laws, regulations, internal policies, procedures, industry standards, and so on. So the auditors review processes, documentation, and activities, right, to identify any areas of non-compliance. And then they recommend corrective actions, right? And candidates, these audits are important for mitigating legal and reputational risks. Compliance audit. Then someone says, forensic. Do internal auditors conduct forensic audits? It's very rare, Karani, as we'll be discussing shortly. I think in Part C, we'll be explaining what forensic audit or accounting is all about. It's very rare for an internal auditor to conduct forensic audit because this is a specialized audit. It's a specialized audit that requires the forensic accountant to have investigative skills. And the purpose for conducting forensic audits, at some point, the findings are relied upon in a court of law. Okay? But the other audits like IT audits, information technology, also known as information systems audits. And these audits focus on an organization's information technologies, infrastructure, and systems. So internal auditors here assess the security, the reliability, and efficiency of the IT systems, as well as the effectiveness of the IT controls. And this type of audit is increasingly important in organizations that rely heavily on technology for their operations. So an internal auditor may perform IT audits. Okay? Then we also have, and you should not forget this one, operational audits. Operational audits. These audits focus on the efficiency and effectiveness of an organization's operations. So internal auditors here assess whether resources are being used appropriately, whether processes are optimized, and goals are being met. For example, an operational audit might examine the efficiency of, say, a manufacturing process or the effectiveness of a customer service department. Operational audits. So these are some of the types of audits. Candidates were to identify just 4 to earn the 5 marks, the 8 marks. Part C of this question reads, the directors of Kiatu Limited, a shoe manufacturing company, have been advised to employ the services of forensic accountant. This is an effort to stop rampant cases of theft in the company that involves employees in the production department and finance department. In a few cases, the company has had problems with insurance claims. Required, explain the term forensic accountant. Forensic accountant. Now, who is a forensic accountant? A forensic accountant is a professional who combines accounting, auditing, and investigative skills to analyze financial information for use in legal proceedings. That's the meaning of a forensic accountant. A forensic accountant, first of all, is a professional who combines accounting, auditing, and investigative skills. First of all, is a professional who does the what? Who combines accounting, auditing, and investigation to analyze financial information. These skills are used to analyze financial information to be used in legal proceedings. Legal proceedings is a key word there. Legal proceedings. So they are involved in cases of fraud, they are involved in cases of embezzlement and other financial crimes, where they gather evidence, they analyze financial records, and provide expert testimony in a court of law. That's why I excluded forensic auditing here as a type of an audit that is normally conducted by internal auditors. Internal auditors may not possess investigative skills to analyze financial information whose report may be used in a court of law. So that's the meaning of forensic accountant. Part 2 of the question reads, advise the directors on 3 expected roles of the forensic accountant in the case of Kiatu Limited. We've read that Kiatu Limited is a shoe manufacturing company. The directors have advised to employ the services of forensic accountant. You can see their candidates. The forensic accountant must come from outside the company to come in and help. We read, this is in an effort to stop rampant cases of theft in the company that involves employees in the production department and finance department. We go on and read that in a few cases, the company has had problems with insurance claims. So, what are the 3 roles that this forensic accountant is expected to play? Roles expected of the forensic accountant. Roles expected of a forensic auditor or accountant. What is your take on that? Can I hear from you? Vincent? We are answering April 2024 question 5. We've just defined what a forensic accountant is. Even if you've not read, what is your guess? Gaspard says, is it to assess, Gaspard, or is it to investigate? We read from this question that this is an effort to stop rampant cases. The company is employing the services of a forensic accountant in an effort to stop rampant cases of theft. If there have been rampant cases of theft, then candidates obviously if the company is bringing in a forensic accountant, then the first role here is to investigate. Because we've just defined that we've defined a forensic accountant as a professional who combines accounting, auditing, and investigative skills to do what? To analyze financial information to use in legal proceedings. Investigative skills. So one role is to investigate, and this is one role that we saw here that the internal auditor may not perform. Investigating. All right. So the forensic accountant would conduct a thorough investigation into the suspected theft, as well as insurance claims issues, just as Gaspard says. That would involve reviewing financial records, interviewing employees, analyzing any available evidence to identify the individuals involved and the extent of the losses. That is one role that this forensic accountant may play. All right? Do you have another point? Joyce says to determine the quantity of financial loss and the compensation amount. That is true. To determine the quantity of financial loss. To quantify. All right? The financial loss. Quantify. Financial loss, if any. That would be based on the investigation. It could be not also true that there have been rampant theft. All right. So the second role is to quantify the financial loss. The forensic accountant will determine the financial impact of the theft and the impact of the insurance, the fraudulent insurance claims, because that we read. And that will involve calculating the value of the stolen goods. It will involve identifying any overstated claims and even assessing any financial losses incurred by the company. And such information will be crucial for seeking restitution or even filing insurance claims. Quantifying the financial losses. Any other point? Roles. Now, we say that this forensic accountant, based on the analysis, his testimony can be used in legal proceedings. So another role here is to provide what we call expert witness testimony. Expert witness testimony. Expert witness if the case goes to court, because he's doing an investigation to establish if there is any fraud or theft, right? Then he will quantify the financial loss, and based on his investigation or recommendations, then if the claims proceed to a court of law, the forensic accountant will be prepared to provide what we call expert witness testimony. And that will involve explaining their findings to the judge. That would also involve providing evidence to support their conclusions and answering any questions raised by the opposing lawyers, because their expertise would be crucial in establishing the facts of the case and ensuring that justice is served. Another role would be to help in the development of measures to mitigate, all right, what we call developing fraud prevention measures. Another role is to develop fraud prevention measures. The forensic accountant may help this company to develop fraud prevention measures. After identifying the witnesses that allowed the theft and the fraudulent claims to occur, the forensic accountant would work with the Kiatu Limited to develop and implement fraud prevention measures. And that would involve strengthening the internal controls. That would also involve implementing fraud prevention measures. All right? It will involve improving inventory management practices or procedures, and also implementing stricter oversight of financial transactions, developing fraud prevention measures. So these are 4 roles expected of a forensic accountant as he or she embarks on the process of analyzing the financial information of Kiatu Limited. How many marks? 6 marks. You have to give 3. I've given you 4. Investigate, quantify losses, expert testimony, develop fraud prevention measures. 6 marks. This one is just 2 marks. Part A of the question, 4 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Part B, how many marks? Part B, 8 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any 4? 8 marks. So we are through, candidates, with the answering questions from April 2024 setting. Thank you for attending the lesson. We will continue to revise. If you have any question or any problem that you'd want us to discuss here in class, please feel free to communicate. So these are the solutions, and they are not the only solutions, candidates. Like the roles expected of a forensic accountant would include even employee training. Employee training. The forensic accountant can be asked or requested to provide training to Kiatu Limited's employees on fraud awareness and prevention, and that would help to raise awareness of the issues. That would involve educating employees on how to identify and report suspicious activities, and also even to create a culture of honesty and integrity within the organization. Is there any question? Any query? We've answered 1 question today. There is no question. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.